Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to make a little journal for a journal today, if that makes any sense. They're folded like this, and they'll have top pockets, and you can use this with your regular journals just as a little added extra gift. Maybe you tuck in a pocket or something, and you also can use up your 12 by 12 papers. This is not 12 by 12, this is 10 by 12, but it was a 12 by 12 sheet, so you can score it the same way. 12 by 12 sheet, doesn't matter, but I'm going to use this since I've already got a couple of pieces that are this size. This one was this size too, and I already had a couple of pieces cut like this for something else, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. But if you have a 12 by 12 sheet, you can do that. You can use an 8 by 8 sheet, 8 by 12 sheet, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be square. This is not completely square, but as you can see, it makes a nice 3 by 5 little pages, and then we're going to have pockets in the top. So it's just another way you can use up your scrapbook paper and then make something really cute. You don't have to put these with the journal. You can give them out as gifts to your friends, or you can just put them in the mail and ship them off to somebody if you want to. Either way works great. So the very first thing that you're going to do is I'm going to put it the 12-inch way. And the reason I'm doing that is you need to determine which way your pattern runs. My pattern runs this way, so I'm going to start scoring on my long side so that when I fold everything up, it's going to fold with my pattern the right way up. Most of it anyway. Well, it looks like all of it is. So you're going to score at 3, at 6, and at 9. Now, if you don't have a scoreboard, don't worry about it. You can just fold it. I'll show you how to fold one in a minute. But I'm just going to use my scoreboard because sometimes my folding is not so great. Alright, then you're going to turn it to the 10-inch side and you're going to score right down the middle, 5 inches. And if you have a 12 by 12 paper, then score at 6. Just score in the center is all you need to do. And like I said, if you don't have a scoreboard, then you can just fold it like this. Just fold it over, burnish it, open it back up, and then fold it this way, just like that. Burnish. And then since my pattern is running this way, I'm going to fold it back like that. That's just the way that we had it folded. Let me start all over. Alright, I'm going to start over for you because I think I've already confused you. First thing that I would do is fold it that way. Open it back up. Fold it that way. And then I'm just going to turn it around where the bottom is facing me, the open part. And then I'm going to fold this up to that edge. These have been done a while. I did these a few years ago in a class, and they go over really well. Then flip it over, and you're going to do the same thing here. Fold it up to that edge. And the better you get this folding, the more even your book will be. I started to say evener. Is that a word? Evener? Don't think so. Alright, so you have something that looks like that. An M or a W, whichever one you want to say. Now you're going to turn it over to this little middle part right here, like you started a little airplane, where you've got this score line that goes right up the middle. You are going to cut right up that score line, and I'm just looking. You can put it back in your trimmer if you want to, if you feel like you can't get that cut right. Just cut up that score line to where the other score line goes across, just like that. Alright, then take it in your hand. So we've just cut that. Take it in your hand like this. Open that. See, you got this accordion. And then you're just going to start folding it over. And your pieces will fold pretty easy one way. They'll be a little bit more difficult the other way. And this last one that you've got to fold right here, it's going to depend on which way it fits better. And you may have to do this and just do a little burnish on the refold, because if you look at it, that one is having to fold all the way around all of them. So sometimes you're going to have to play around with that last one a little bit. And then you've got, I think I got that pattern upside, no, I got it right side up. Then you've got page. See, we'll have pockets up here. Page, page, and page. Like that. Now, if any of this that's not even bothers you, you can always just trim them off. Put them back in your trimmer and trim them off. I usually just put this together and get it together. I put one corner together, and then I just take my bone folder and go over that, and it evens it up enough for me. I may trim a tiny little bit off there, but I'm not going to worry about that until I get these put together. Now, I want my openings to be at the top. As you can see, this is open at the top and it's closed at the bottom. I want my openings to be at the top. So when you're playing with your pattern paper, you might want to play around with a scrap piece first, maybe just a little scrap piece, and see which way you need to turn it to make sure that your pattern is the right way up. Or just use some paper that it doesn't matter about the pattern. You can also do this with digitals. It doesn't have to be scrapbook paper, but this is just another way for us to use up our scrapbook paper. So, got that. There's my pages, and I'm going to put these together because they're both butterflies, and I like this design together. I think I'm going to put my pink one on top. And see, they're pretty close to being even. There might be just a fraction of an inch difference, but that doesn't bother me. And this paper came from this collection that we sold probably the first of the year, maybe. If I can find it anywhere, I'll put it in the link below. We don't have any more of these and can't get any more, but if I can find this, I'll put it in the link below. I love that paper. As you know, it's what's not to love? It's butterflies. Now, if you want to, you can stitch around these and stitch them closed and not have to glue. But I think I'm just going to glue mine. So I'm going to pull this page up, and I can see that there's a little bit off there. So I'm just going to trim because I'm going to be gluing that. All right, so what we're going to do, let me put that to the side. Now, if you don't want pockets, if you don't want top pockets, you can do side pockets. Which one will we do? I may do a top pocket and a side pocket. Let's do a top pocket here. Just going to run a little bit of glue all the way down through there. Like that. And close that together. And see what I was talking about? You could stitch down through there if you wanted to. But I'm just going to use my glue. So we got that one together. And now this one is glued together, basically, other than back at the back. And we're not going to worry about that because we'll glue that in a minute. So just leave that one. Well, I take that back. We're going to have to glue it right here at the bottom. So I'm just going to pull that up. Put a little put a little groove across the bottom. Close that one up. Okay, so there's two, and then this one, we're going to glue it together right here, just like we did the other one. Sometimes I think my hand has got a mind of its own. Oh, I have to put a picture up. Miss Brooklyn is in Michigan. They made it up there just a little while ago, and she is so excited. She's standing by, I don't know if it's Lake Michigan or if it's one of the other lakes, but she's standing beside one, and she is so excited. You can see all over her face how excited she is. So I'll put some photos up at the end so you guys can see. She said, the wind is even blowing just like the ocean. She is just so thrilled. And they're thrilled that they're up there and not here in Alabama because our weather is supposed to be over 100 next week. All right, so that's that one. I'm going to sit that right there for a minute while we do this one. All right, the front page looks like we just need to glue the bottom. So y'all have to stay tuned and watch till the end so you can see Brooklyn's photos in Michigan. She's so excited. And Aaron's just like, well, yep, this is an ocean. And his mother said, no, it's not an ocean. It just looks like one. He's like, this is an ocean, Mother. He's not been around lakes very much, so he doesn't really understand the difference in a lake and a big ocean. But he knows the difference in my pool and an ocean. So he told his mother, he said, this is an ocean because it's bigger than Nene's pool. So if it's bigger than my pool, it's an ocean. And she said, well, do you want to go in it? And he said, nope. He doesn't like to swim in water that he can't see the bottom. And he swims like a fish. And always has ever since he's been in the world. He just jumped in swimming. He has no fear of things like that. But they won't let him go in lakes and things because he doesn't have any fear. So he doesn't understand that there are dangers. Okay, so that one is all taped. That one is all glued up. Now, in order to glue this little part here, we can just go ahead and glue that, or we can just leave it. It doesn't have to be glued right here. It doesn't have to be glued. So I think I'm just going to leave mine because we're going to attach it in our signature anyway, and that's going to close that up. So that's going to be my two little signatures. They're cute, aren't they? And see, mine are 3 by 5, but if you're doing a 12 by 12, then yours is going to be probably a, 3 by 6 maybe. Yeah. I got stuff all over my hands. Now we're going to make a cover. I think 2 signatures. I don't know. Do you want to do another signature? Okay, let's do 3. Let me grab another sheet of paper. Okay, let's do this one. And I'll have to cut this one down a little bit because this one was a new sheet and not a scrap, so that's okay. We can cut it down. And I'm going to cut the 10-inch part. I'm going to cut across here so that my pattern will still run the right way, hopefully. My other ones did, so maybe this one will. So I can still use that piece. Put that right there. Now, as I said, I'm going to score, but if you don't want to score or you don't have a scoreboard, you can just fold. I'm going to score at 3, at 6, and at 9, and that's on the 12-inch side. Then I'm going to turn it this way, and since this is 10 inches, I'm going to score at 5. If it was 12 inches, you would score at 6. So that is my score lines. Then we'll go ahead and do some folding. So we'll have a blue one, a pink one, and then this one's going to be kind of yellows, maybe. So you just need to meet your ends when you're folding. Just meet up on them. And see, these are light enough on the back that you can even do journaling on. And you don't need a paper that's very thick, I will tell you that. I started to try to do this with a thicker paper this morning and it just didn't work. It is too thick to fold right. So, okay, got your hem again there. We're going to cut up on this line right here. I'll flip it over. I think I can see the line better on this side. There we go. And just cut up to that first score line that goes across. And you have that. So you're just going to flip it around in your hand till you got it that looks like this. It's the diamond shape in the middle. And then you're just going to put those together and fold it. And like I said, on this one, you may have to fold it a couple of different ways to see. I'm going to trim that off just a little bit. I didn't cut all my score line out. So you may have to fold this way and look at it, and then fold that way and see which one that it gives the least resistance to. And it looks like it's not resisting quite so much going this way. And it, like I said, you will have to probably give it another little fold so that your score line's not sticking up there, but once you kind of press it in there and give it a good fold, and the thicker your paper is, the harder that's going to be. So that's why I said you need to go with a thin paper, pretty thin. Okay, looks like I need to trim off a little bit right there. And since you're folding the paper around itself, it's not going to fit perfectly on the ends, but that's why you just give it a little tug and a little pull and a little extra fold, and it will work. Let's go ahead. Now on this one, we'll do some side pockets. So we'll glue together the top there, and then we'll leave that open. And then this one's going to have to be a top because it's got the bottom open like that. And then this one we'll make another top pocket. So my kiddos are all excited. None of them have ever been to Michigan before. Well, I know my kids haven't. I don't know if Brendan has ever been there or not, but they're excited. Very, very excited. So if that's your state, then holler out at the kiddos and welcome them there. All right, and then this one we'll glue together at the bottom. All right, we have got our 3 signatures completed, and then I've just got them clipped together just to keep them smushed down. And now we're going to do a little cover for it. Now you could do just another paper cover if you want. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use this little piece of thin chipboard that I had laying here. Now what you need to do your cover, this is 3 inches wide, so you know you need a front and a back, so that would be 6 inches. The spine is right at 1/4 inch, so we know we need at least a 1/4 inch spine. And I'm probably going to fudge and cut it just a little bit over 1/4 inch. So that would be 6 1/4 that we know we need. But I'm going to cut it at 6 3/4, the lengthwise. All right, 6 3/4. And I'm just going to cut it down through there. It's going to be too big for that, so let me get my other trimmer. And I think this is was just the backing of a paper pad maybe, so use that. Okay, and then we know that it is 5 inches tall. So I want the cover a tiny bit taller than the actual pages. So we're going to cut it at like 5 1/4. Cut it a little bit over because you can always cut it down. Now let me make sure I'm cutting on the right side because I am talking, right? Let's measure again. Yes. So a little bit over 5 1/4. All right, so there is our little cover. And you can see that's going to fit in there perfectly and fold around. Now, if you want to, you can just fold this around and make your little lines that way. You know I don't do good at that, so I'm going to score my lines. I don't do so good at just folding. My folds tend to go a little crooked. Now, I just need to find the center of this. So I'm going to find the center with my ruler first because that just makes it a little bit easier for me. If you turn your ruler where you have that 0, that's the center. And then you just need to make sure that this end and that end are on the same little notches. So I've got 3 3/8 there. I've got 3 3/8 there. So I know that is going to be my center right there. Then I want at least 1/4 inch. So from the center, I'm going to go over, I'm going to go over a little bit past 1/8 there and a little bit past 1/8 here. And I'm just putting some guess notches there right now, and I think that's going to work. But the first thing we're going to do is, and I'm going to line this up on on a little line here, and hopefully I can score it down the right way. Then we'll line this other one up, and I'm not scoring at my center notch. I'm scoring at the little notch that I made past the center. Okay, that looks like maybe I got it. Maybe, yep. See, there's my little spine, and then there is your little cover, and I think we'll go this way with it. And if you want to just pre-fold yours and not do any scoring, that kind of thing, you can do that. Just make sure that when you fold it up, after you have your little spine put in there, that these ends meet up. That's all you need to make sure of. So that's going to be our spine. I am going to go ahead and reinforce these score lines, just so that things kind of fold right. And if you're using regular paper, you can do it the same identical way. Okay. Now, there we go. So now what we need to do is sit that in there and make sure it's going to fit. And it does. Cute. I like that. And I've got just enough on the edges and just enough on bottom and top. So I love, love, love it. Now, we can attach this many different ways. And I haven't decided exactly which way I'm going to attach this one. I know, that's good news for you, isn't it? But first I'm going to attach my signatures together. So I'm going to take the signature that I want to put in the front. I'm going to take that back page, the one I want to go in the middle, and take the front page. And I'm going to put those up together. And again, I'm going to have, let's see, I've got a side pocket there, a top pocket. I think I'll have another top pocket. And yeah, I just did my tongue. I do that when I'm thinking sometimes. Sorry about that. I know I've had some people comment, what is that clicking noise? That is me. Sometimes when I'm thinking I do that, and I don't realize I do it until somebody says something about it. All right. I'm just going to squish those up together. Make sure that I'm not gluing anything else to it. Just keep these little edges right here as straight as you possibly can. So there's that one. I don't know why I didn't put glue right there, but I need to put glue right there. So those are attached. And now we're going to attach these two right here. So this time, let me see if I can do my glue right. Put the glue all the way down this side, this bottom, and then down this side, unless you're going to make a side tuck pocket. And then of course you would leave this side open and glue up here. And then this is going to go right on top of it. And you could clip these together until you get ready to put it in your little journal here. So let's do that. Let's clip all of that together. Lay that aside. Now we're going to cover the pages on this. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use paper out of this. Let's use a piece of this purple. That's pretty. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm going to cover the inside with this side of it and the outside with this side. So let's see if we can get that. Now, I want to get the butterfly on the front. Let's do it that way. Cut it from up here. So we need to cut this piece of paper 7 3/4 by 5 1/8. Need to cut this piece at 6 3/4 by 5 1/8. So 6 3/4 right there. Now, if you want to wrap your chipboard, wrap your paper around, then you can cut it a little bit larger, and I think I will do that. I think I'm going to cut it at 7 1/4. Let's see, I want to get this on there. Okay, 7 1/4, and then I'm going to cut this piece at 5 and let's see, 5 1/2. Let's cut this piece at 5.5, and that should give us plenty to wrap around. And then we'll save that little piece to cut for the inside. Okay. Oh yeah, that'll work right there. So I'm going to put a good amount of glue on here. And you can use score tape if you'd rather. I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. Or you can just stitch this if you want. Stitch your paper on there. And I'm going to put a good amount of glue right down my spine, because you don't want your spine cracking. So if you'll put a lot of wet glue there, it'll help soften that paper and keep it from cracking. You can also use your PVA glue. I don't know about a glue stick. It would probably work, but I don't know for sure. So I've not used one on something like this. Okay, that looks pretty close, pretty close. Then you're going to smooth it out, and that makes all of that glue squish out to all of the edges. There we go. So that sounds good. Now we're going to cut these little corners, and all I do is cut them out just a tiny bit. I don't cut all the way up to the chipboard, and I don't cut them just straight across. I do just a little oval cut like that. Just a tiny bit. Don't need much since the paper is not very much bigger. And then I take, in order to get this to fold well, I take my little tool, scoring tool, or you could take a bone folder, you could take the edge of your scissors, just something to go down through there and make, break the fibers down in that, so that's going to fold up better. And I almost didn't leave myself enough room there, did I? Okay, and then I like to take this and push that up. Maybe it's going to curl around. I needed to have made this a little bigger, so make yours a little bit bigger. I can get it down probably, but it's going to be tight. So cut it another at least 1/2 inch bigger than what I did. You can tell I got all this written down, right? you guys know this is it. This is a trial and error thing for me. If it's a big error, it doesn't go up. Alright, I'm putting lots of glue down in there, and I'm going to grab my glue mat because I know I'm going to make a mess. And then I'm going to squish that down. And I don't mind if that glue goes all over, because we can always cover that over with other paper. There we go. If my hand would dry glue straight today, we could get this done. I don't know what is wrong with my hand. Told you it has a mind of its own today. Alright. There we go. The corner works good. And I always take and just tap a little bit on my corners to keep them from being sharp corners. If you have a sharp corner, the chances of it tearing through is a lot better than if you have a little dented in corner. And I just think they look better. I don't like those sharp corners. Okay. I got glue coming off my fingers on it. There we go. Got that one. Just going to give it a good squish. And then this one. There we go. Okay, now tap my corners. Yep. Alright, there we go. Now, normally you wait till this dries before you do any folding. Remember that. I am telling you, Don't do like Edith does. Do like she says do. I'm going to go I'm going to fold mine up real carefully. Just rock it to give that paper time to bend a little bit. Break the fibers. Rock this side. Don't force anything. Alright, there we go. There's our little cover. Isn't that cute? Super, super cute. Okay, now I'm going to flatten it back out. Then I'm going to put a little piece of paper inside here. And I like to just mark this one. I don't do a lot of measuring on this. I just mark it and cut it. It fits much better than if I had measured, because sometimes I don't get everything exactly squared out. And if it's not exactly square, it's a lot easier to just mark it and cut it. Okay. And then a mark right there. Yes, that fits perfect. Okay, just going to make sure that I'm putting it the right way up, since I do have writing on here. And I am going to put a little bit of ink around mine. I just like to do that in case there are any white corners or white edges. It'll just disguise those. Then we're going to glue that down right there. And I'm just going to put glue on this. I've got a gnat in front of me now. He must like this glue. Glue all the way out to the edges, or at least put enough that you can squish it out to the edges. Now let's go and do some burnishing. This will squish that glue all the way out to the edges, and it'll flatten it out to where it's not any lumps or bumps in there. Right, now I definitely do need to wait till this dries before I do any bending on it. So let me give this just a few seconds to dry, and then I'll come back and we'll fold this up and we'll put our little inserts in there. All right, I think we're ready to put the signatures in, and I've kind of pinned them in there. May have to adjust just a tiny bit. Let's see, I want to make sure that I'm in the center. I think I am. I'm going to look right here. Okay, that one is the center. Yep, that one is the center. So just find the center of your little folio that you put together there. Make sure that all of my edges are good, and they look like they are. I'm going to clip it. Turn it this way. And I'm just making sure that that is pressed down in there really, really well. See, when I close it up, I don't want any gaps in there. So that looks like it's clipped in there pretty good. And I'm going to put it in my little journal tool here. And I am just, all I'm doing is eyeballing that center hole right there. And then I'm just eyeballing to see if I can get this about even. It doesn't have to be perfect, because guess what? I'm going to put lace on there, on the spine. And I'm hoping that this is going to go through well, because this is chipboard and paper. Oh yeah, right through, no problem. And then I'm just going to move it up a little bit to get to my other holes. Oh, that makes it so easy. Move it down this way a little bit to get to that one. Yep. So there we go. So see, you can bind little journals on this too. It's not a problem. There's my 3 holes right in the center. Now all I have to do is get my thread. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to use this gold looking thread. I think it's really called a tan, but to me it looks kind of goldish. And I'm going to go through the center. Come back up through the top. Go all the way down to the bottom. And then we're going to come back up through the center again. Okay, and when you come up through that center, just make sure that your threads are on opposite sides of that thread that goes all the way down. And mine are, so I'm going to go ahead and take these off so I can do any adjusting that I need to before I pull it tight and tie it. Let's see. I think that's good. So we will pull this tight one way and then the other. And I always check the outside. You know, I didn't check the outside one time, and when I had it tied, I kept thinking that signature is sliding and moving. And I looked, and I had actually tied something, some paper or something else on the outside in there, so that's why it was doing that. So always check the outside. All right, I'm going to leave those little tails hanging. That way I can put a charm on those. And there is our little journal. Isn't that cute? And you've got room for your little top loading. And this is just a piece I cut. There's a little top loading pocket there. And then you have some side loading pockets somewhere. Let me find them. Right here. Side loading pockets. And you can just put some little tabs on those so you'll have a pull. Quick and easy. And then we'll tie a piece of seam binding or something around it, or you could put a different kind of closure. So let me get some lace that will go on this. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get too fancy with it. Oh, I like that. Let's go with this lace. Yeah, that'll be pretty over there. Go ahead and cut this straight. We'll cut us a piece off. And I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac and run that right down through there. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. And I'll trim these ends off in a minute. Right now I just want to make sure that I get my lace down. Okay, that one. Pull my little strings out of the way so I don't cut them off. There you go. That's cute. Now, I don't want to cover my butterflies up. I don't want to cover them up, but I thought about just putting some odd lace that I have here in the middle somehow, or maybe just over a little ways. I don't know now. I'm a little bit undecided. I don't want to cover my butterflies up. So tell you what, I don't think I'm going to do too much more to the cover. I'm going to leave the cover. I am going to put a little piece of trim, this black and silver trim down through there on the spine, just to dress it up a little bit. But I'm not sure that I'm going to do too much more to the cover. I kind of like that. And we'll put a little bit of ink around the edges because that just kind of makes everything look finished off. And that is it. Cute. Put lots of little photos or notes or whatever in there. Now, let me get some seam binding because I think I'm going to tie this together with seam binding. You could put a different type closure on it, but I like my seam binding. So, and I think I have the perfect two colors right here. This one is lilac. I like lilac color. These are from my scrap cabin. You guys know that's where I buy my crinkled seam binding from. Couldn't get that out for a minute, could I? Except the new guys, you guys may not know, but that is where I buy all of my crinkled seam binding. Now she sent me this to do reviews on, and I've used it constantly. So go over and check her out. I'll put her link below. I'm hoping I cut that long enough. You know I was talking. Yeah, that'll work. It could have stood to have been just a tiny bit longer to have hang downs, but that'll work right there. Not a problem. Not a problem. Alright, so that is our little journal that can go in a journal. So you could just slide this down in a pocket or slide it in the front cover pocket, something like that. And then they would have a journal to go with the journal. Or you can just send this to a friend if you want to, just like it is. Put it in an envelope. Send it to a friend or just hand it out to someone that may be having a birthday or something. That would be a cute gift. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please let me know by giving a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. We would appreciate that. And we will talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.